The LA Lakers have been banged up with injuries all season, especially in the big man positions. So when AD went down with another injury, they needed somebody else to step up. So far, they've definitely found somebody who's doing a pretty damn good job, and that's been Thomas Bryant. Someone who was one of the most promising young centers in the league just a few seasons ago had been forgotten by most. He was even a Laker when he first started his career. But now he's back with the Lakers in 2022, and he seems to have found himself yet again. Let's talk about how Thomas Bryant, the forgotten NBA center, is dominating the league with the Lakers. Bryant has stepped up in a massive way since AD's injury, but most fans believe he pretty much just spawned into the Lakers rotation this year, and that's not exactly the case. But the fact is, Bryant has been around the league for a while, and this isn't his first time in a Lakers uniform either. He was drafted 42nd by the Utah Jazz in his rookie season, and then the Lakers traded for him. I remember in his rookie season when I used to watch every single Lonzo game, Thomas Bryant used to get some rotational minutes here and there, but he didn't really do that much. They didn't really give him much playing time. So at the end of the season, they ended up waiving him, and he ended up signing with the Washington Wizards, where he started kicking off his career. In Washington, he was a promising young center. Over his 4 years in Washington, he averaged 11 points and 6 rebounds, which is pretty darn solid for a guy who just got completely written off by the Lakers early in his career. The problem is that in those seasons he had about as many injury problems as Anthony Davis has right now, which is quite a lot. Those years were hampered with injuries for Bryant, from foot problems to start his Wizards career to horribly tearing his ACL, which had him miss like a season and a half of NBA basketball. It was horrible to see for a guy that was just starting to find his way in the league as a really important player. He got that ACL injury and he really never caught back on with Washington. Once he finally got healthy in Washington, they pretty much gave him very little rotational minutes as they'd already had their squad pretty formulated from the year and a half that he was out. So when he became a free agent last year, there were plenty of teams that were interested in him, and the Lakers happened to pull off a really good deal. $2 million for a 1-year minimum deal is absolute fantastic value for how good Bryant's been so far this year. It took Thomas Bryant some time to finally get incorporated into the Lakers rotation, as he injured his thumb right away, like 1 day before the NBA season. How's that for luck for a guy who hurt his foot and tore his ACL? But nevertheless, he's bounced back and he's been absolutely incredible when he's been given the chance for the Lakers. He's worked his way into the rotation due to injuries to AD, of course what's new, and then other big men as well have not stepped up as Thomas has. So he's been given the opportunity and he's absolutely taken it. Despite him not getting many rotational minutes this year, in 24 games he's averaged 12 points and 7 rebounds, shooting really impressively from the field. 67% and 46% from 3 on 1 attempt a game, which is pretty solid for a big guy. Thomas throughout his career has made his money on the offensive end. In Washington, he really started to grow his offensive skills and he started to become really efficient when it comes to finishing near the basket as a big man. For starters, he's got really good hands around the bucket, which is something that maybe Lakers fans aren't used to, especially with Kwame Brown. We all know how that goes. And with having good hands, he's also got a massive frame, 6'10", 250, and he's leaned down a bit from when he first came into the league. This helps him finish really efficiently around the rim, and he's a handful for any opposing big man. He was even giving Jarrett Allen some problems when they played against the Cavs, and if you know about Jarrett Allen, that doesn't happen to him very often, even against some of the best big men in the league. His touch around the rim is quite exquisite, and it also aids him into having a really nice jump shot. He can stretch it from mid-range and even stretch it out to 3, as he's done so far in a Lakers uniform, and he's proven to do that in a Washington Wizards uniform as well. And of course, if you've watched any Lakers games this season, you know how hard he plays and how much energy he plays with. Him and Wenyen Gabriel, Russ, they have ways to impact the game with just their energy and enthusiasm. And when you play with that amount of heart and energy, things are always going to go your way, and that's how he's worked his way into the rotation. It wasn't just the offensive skill that the Lakers saw. I believe that they saw that he was really willing to work hard and do whatever the team needed. and that's when he started to get his break. He's also struck up a pretty good chemistry with Russ this season, as saw in their last few games. Him and Russ, they really communicate well, and Russ is always looking for him on the offensive end. And when AD's been out, he's averaged 15 and 9 as a starter, that's definitely league center starter averages. He should be pretty proud of what he's been putting up. And although of course the Lakers need AD back, they shouldn't be too worried because Thomas is doing a pretty fantastic job. And he's done this in 12 games without AD when he started. So it's not a small sample size. He's proven that it's not a fluke. This guy is actually really good. Sometimes you see guys who step into a role for somebody else, an injury substitution, and they play really well. And then 5 games later, they completely disappear because they were just given that role and that was not permanent. I think Thomas's success is permanent. Although I'm praising him a lot in this video, there are still areas where he needs to improve if he wants to really get consistent minutes beside AD once he gets back. For how big and strong he is, he doesn't command much of a presence around the rim defensively. He averages less than a block a game, which is pretty horrendous. I think if I was that big and that strong, I would average at least a block a game. So he definitely needs to get that up. He's also not extremely mobile as well since he's so big. He's a little bit slow-footed and sometimes it looks like he's on ice skates. So if he can improve on that end, it'll definitely yield him some more consistent rotational minutes once AD gets back. And fortunately, he has shown a decent amount of promise on that end. It just needs to be more consistent. Lakers fans are hoping to start him beside AD once he gets back, and I think that would be a good fit for them offensively and defensively, even if Thomas can't get back to the defensive levels that I personally would like to see him at. Since AD is so good defensively, I think that he can hide some of Thomas's defensive flaws and allow Thomas to just cook on offense. And since AD is pretty mobile when it comes to defending guards as well, I think that this would be a very good combo for the Lakers. But for now, until AD gets back, that starting role is locked for him. And in this stretch of games, he's made everybody who forgot about him being in the league remember how good he is. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video of me highlighting Thomas Bryant, a player that the media doesn't really talk about that much, then this is the place to be because I'll have plenty more videos coming out, and I have plenty of videos on the channel of some of the more underrated teams, players, and situations in the NBA. And this is a place where we can just talk about these teams, players, situations, and you can just relax and watch some basketball. So if that interests you, then hit the subscribe button and like this video. And also comment down below what you think of Thomas Bryant. Do you think he's having a good season? Do you think that the Lakers really need AD badly? Just let me know in the comments down below. I try and respond to every comment. So thank you for watching, and as always, stay rested. See you in the next one.